Thank you very much. It is 4:35 on October 22nd, 2024. I'd like to open the meeting of the Appointments Committee for the Town of Barnstable. This meeting is being recorded and will be rebroadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, the chair must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known. This meeting will be replayed via Xfinity Channel 8 or High Definition Channel 1072. It may also be accessed via the Government Access Channel Live Video on Demand archives on the Town of Barnstable website under the streaming video links. So roll call, please.
Councilors Clark,
Here.
Turkelson,
Here.
Burdick, Bloom,
Here.
Mendez. You have quorum.
Thank you. Agenda item B, for public comment, please utilize a Zoom link below or in person in the selectmen's room. Any public comments? Larry?
No.
And nobody's on Zoom.
No.
Okay. So discussion and recommendations on candidates that were already interviewed.
Good. Yeah, Chris is here.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Thank you. All right, for the housing committee, Chris Beach, thank you. Come up to the table, please.
So this is Chris Beach, who's being interviewed for the housing committee.
Thank you. And the term is, there is one vacancy for a member whose term expires June 30th, 2025, Chris Beach. Thank you very much. We have his resume and his letter of interest. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Please tell us about yourself and why you're interested in this committee.
So you want to know about past work experiences?
Just you.
Really? So I made this mistake. I went into an interview a long time ago and they said the same thing. So I'm like, I have kids on it. And then so I got done and he's like, I meant about your work experience. And I was like, oh, so I was anyways. Oh yeah, nothing exciting. I have 2 kids, 2 older kids, 18 and 24. One just graduated, just one went in, pretty much stick to myself, quiet guy, a few hobbies, nothing exciting at all, just trying to stay out of trouble. Yeah, it is, if you would have told me when I was 20, this is how I'd be now. Work, right now I work at Cape Cod Respite. A lot of people don't know it's kind of a small program, but it's a 6-bed respite. A lot of people, they come from mental hospitals, Cape Cod Hospital, homeless and stuff like that. And what they do is they put in a referral, and it's a 30-day program, kind of mail you out, work on certain goals like housing, stuff like that. It's a pretty good program. For the most part, it works. Very interesting. A lot of very interesting people. But I do like, I've been there 6 months now. I really like working there and stuff like that. So, I worked there as a case manager. And before that I worked with Duffy as a digital telehealth navigator, but then it was case manager. And then by the time I left, I think I had 12 different jobs. It was very interesting, but I really like working with that population and stuff like that. I got along with it really well. But anyways, long story short, I guess, the last few jobs, we have them all. Housing is a huge issue. And I believe, housing is as it is, it affects, everything else, like mental health, everything, it just kind of makes it worse, So I figured I would come in here, try to learn what I can, see if I can help out at all and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jen?
You got a lot of interesting experience working with people.
Yeah.
People with problems that need to be solved. And I really liked your letter. It seemed like really upbeat. Even though it wasn't long, it was short and sweet.
That's how I am.
You just seem like really into this. Yeah. So you said you bring a lot of different kinds of ideas and that sort of thing.
Yeah, kinda. I it's a tough issue. I don't see a clear cut, way to fix it, I guess. I mean, I'm not really sure, I'm still learning and stuff like that, I pick up some stuff along the way. And stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
So actually what happened is the first 10 years of my life, after 18, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I was in construction, drove trucks, I joined the military because I don't want to labor anymore. I want to do smart people stuff. And then I got out, went to college for IT, and then I started doing IT, and I absolutely hated it. Sitting in front of a screen for 8 to 12 hours, not for me. So some of the jobs I've had, like it's a little bit of both. But then one day somebody said, hey, this is a huge issue, and I started working at the shelter. And that's kind of how it started, and I felt like, I could empathize, I could relate, to past experience, for the most part, you know what I mean? There's some stuff that I had never really, went through and stuff like that. So that's kind of where what you see on there, working with people and stuff like that. I really do enjoy that. Trying to give back, what I can. So, yeah.
As far as housing goes, what segment of if you had to choose a segment of the population on Cape Cod or in the town of Barnstable that needs it the most?
Low income. Absolutely low income. Within the field, the health services, social services kind of thing, a lot of the lower level people, they don't make much money, and a lot of these people have 2-3 jobs, kids, and they're barely, making, buy and stuff like that, the town of Barnstable eats those kind of people, you know what I mean? So, if they can't find a place to stay, they just want to leave, and they do that already, so.
Thanks.
How's that, Councilor Boone?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilor Turkelson?
I guess I'm struggling to find a question because obviously you've had your hands in some of the populations that obviously are impacted deeply by housing. So it kind of seems like a silly question. I'd just be asking something that's already obvious on this piece of paper.
There's no silly questions.
And I mean, obviously there aren't any easy answers. That's because if it was, it would already have been solved by now. Is there one thing in your respite position that you see is an avenue where you think something's maybe a little bit broken that could be improved, that you think would be like a step in the right direction towards helping the people that you think need the most help?
With housing?
Yeah.
Or just in general?
If the thing in general loops back to housing, that would be fine too. 'Cause I mean, the answer might not be in housing that helps housing. I don't.
Well,
maybe
I
that's-
guess
maybe that's where we're looking in the wrong place.
I
on
just,
some level. I don't know.
I, everywhere I go, everybody's just overwhelmed with the volume of people that need help. It's, and then, like a case manager, back in the day, they might have had 15 clients or whatever, and now they've got 30, and they, and then the low pay, people are like, I'm not gonna deal with this, it's tough, so I just think all services just in general are very overwhelmed, and they just can't keep up. It's, and it's, they're people, you know what I mean? So sometimes they get shuffled around, and their needs don't get met, and they can get worse, and, sometimes it looks like they just try to put that quick fix on it, and it's really tough, so. I can go on about this all day, but I'm trying to do it quick, so.
No, I mean, I appreciate, you
Yeah.
don't have to keep it brief if there's something important that you want to tell us. I mean, we're here to learn about you and get a sense of what makes you tick and how that would be useful to the housing committee.
Yeah, like that's pretty much it. Like every place I've worked on there, since I started in this field, it's just everybody's overwhelmed. And that's the toughest part, and then, like I said, the people suffer. But I mean, I've also seen great successes too, which makes me go back every day, you know what I mean? So it's when the programs are used and it works, it's fantastic. But there's a lot of people with a lot of issues, and they just can't do this overnight.
Yeah.
So.
thank you very much for stepping up and applying. And indeed, it looks like you have a suite of experiences and training that would serve this committee well. I think that the housing committee has been not functioning fully in the past. So I think you will bring a fresh breath of fresh air to the group, and to my understanding, filling this vacancy will mean fully
They have a
appointed.
full, they will
Committee
have a full complement of
one time.
committee members.
It wasn't that, they didn't have enough members to hold the meeting, or they were having struggles. Have you watched any of the housing committee meetings?
No, but I've been meening to go to like some of the council meetings and stuff like that.
You can watch them online to see, and read their minutes to see the work that
No, I
they've been
didn't know
doing.
that. Oh,
Do
okay.
you know how to do that online?
I'm sure I can
You're
figure
an
it out.
IT guy.
Yeah. But that's extra though.
There's an app called My Barnstable. I think, isn't that what the name is? My Barnstable, yeah.
Oh,
It has everything you need.
Oh.
Right in there.
And the website's pretty good too. Is it on the website too?
Yes,
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
yeah, right on the home page. If you go to the home page and then you scroll down about 3/4 of the way, you'll see video on demand. At the very top, there's a search bar. You search for whatever committee you want and it'll bring the videos right up. We keep them for a full year on there.
I appreciate what you said too, because that's kind of the whole purpose. You know, maybe coming in like that and, you know, and that was kind of the goal by the
Sure.
and stuff like that.
So yeah, that committee could use some help, but there's also another committee that was, an ad hoc committee that was formed by the town council president. It's a committee to address, housing, and it's made of, I think, 3 councilors and two at large.
It's a committee of 9.
Committee. So, that might be another committee meeting worth watching,
Okay.
because these are 2 tracks that are trying to accomplish similar goals. And the ad hoc committee is going to be sunsetted. It's not going to be a standing committee, whereas the housing committee is a standing committee for the town. Where once you get appointed, the term expires 2025, and that means next year you would have to come up for reappointment.
Oh,
You have to just show your intention to the chair
oh,
that you intend to continue serving on the committee if you are willing.
yeah, that's not
But the term ends, they're for usually for 3-year terms. So this is finishing up
Backfilling somebody that had to resign.
expired
that
term,
makes sense.
or a term that somebody quit before the term was up. And so that means that you would be, if you were to be approved, recommended by this committee, but approved by the town council after 2 reads, 2 town council readings, that then you would be, if so voted in, Cynthia would then contact you and give you the protocol, how to get sworn in and come on board.
Okay.
But I suggest that you do a little homework ahead of time and look at what the committee has been discussing lately, so you can jump right in and
No, that sounds
make a
fantastic.
smooth
What was the,
transition.
what was the app?
You just go to the town of Barnstable website.
Oh, to be on there?
Yeah,
Oh,
scroll
okay,
down.
that's fine.
That's the easiest. place to
That's the
find it.
easiest way. Yeah.
Videos on
It's
demand.
called video on demand.
And then there's all of the committees, and you would choose the committee, and I would start from the most recent and work back, because there's a period of time where the committee wasn't active at all, so don't scroll back and start there, start from here and work your way back.
Very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, just so that you're able to participate fully.
No, that's fantastic, yeah.
And I appreciate your interest. That has a big task. It's not only a townwide problem, but it's state and national problem, so. But it looks like they're well suited for that. So, if there aren't any more questions, I'll entertain a motion. Oh, no, I'll wait till afterwards.
Yeah, we can.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can do that at the end.
Yeah.
Chris is excited.
Sorry. Thank you.
All
All right, in that case,
Yeah.
thank you very much,
Nice meeting
Chris.
you,
You have to wait here?
No, unless you want to.
No, I'll be in touch.
Okay, thanks a lot. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you
Good
very
meeting.
much. All right, so Timothy,
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much for signing up to and showing interest in our community or in serving our town. Also good.
So, you're on the Shellfish Committee, you're like in the Shellfish Committee, you must have started as.
Yeah, I'm also a commercial harvester in town as well. Yeah.
Okay, so you know them all, you'd be able to work with them easily.
Yep.
No.
As well as possible.
You
You know, the
shellfish
conversation
guys
is
always-
on tape.
As well as possible.
Yeah, you have strong opinions.
Yeah.
Things, which is okay. Okay, that's.
Still a team player, 100%.
You know just about all.
Yep, know everybody. I do I don't know if you guys follow it with the dredge program and all that stuff, but I mainly do bull raking and overboard digging, so I'm kind of representative. But would like to get on to kind of have the manpower harvesters kind of more represented just for some things that kind of come up in discussion and things like that, because sometimes when a spring machine with the men are, it doesn't really work out that, so sometimes you gotta look out.
Manpower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good idea. Thank you.
I think you should go next, because I know you know a lot about this area.
Well, I know about
So-
shellfishing, but I know.
No, I'm from Michigan. I'm a Wash. I've been here since. Oh,
Wash
you know,
Shore.
St. Peter's.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm married to Dania.
Oh,
Yeah, so
perfect.
we were behind you in the parade. We got second.
Okay.
So it's man mosque at the same.
All right.
That was you guys, right? In the front.
The shellfish.
Who's
Yeah.
Daniel's father?
Sturgis was, yeah,
Sturgis.
yeah.
He's a good friend of mine.
Oh, was he really? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're back in,
Knew him from when we were kids.
he's a riot, was a riot, yeah,
He was a great guy.
yeah.
He was a power of. He was a powerful guy.
And they still live on Willamette, right?
It was Cindy, but we ended up buying, Janice still lives with us and,
Because you're my neighbor, I live on New London,
oh,
the end of the dirt road.
okay.
Boy, this table's getting smaller and smaller.
I'm
Cape
married to
Cod is
Townie.
small.
I'm married to super townie, so.
Yeah.
Well, if you're doing woodworking, that'll keep you.
Yeah,
Yes.
honest day when I go,
All
so.
right, and heads off too, it's not easy to make a living.
No, I've enjoyed it a lot though, it's so much different than, I worked up in Boston for 7 years running an Eversource contract downtown. I gotta get done with that, so.
You set your own
It's okay to say
schedule,
you hate it.
Yeah, so yeah. I didn't hate it. It was tough.
but you're at the mercy of Mother Nature, so.
Yep, so.
Well, good, have you been watching any of the shellfish community?
I did not make it to the last one, but I've been to the last 4,
Okay, good.
so yeah, I
I
tried
was
to.
at the last one.
Yeah, so, I try to make a monthly attendance when I have that. I had a conflict last month.
Sure. And so, what do you think you can bring to the community?
An open perspective, reasonable person, all walks of life, working up in the city and everything like that, so, typically, things don't get me too riled and kind of have it's not so much an easy answer sometimes as you need to actually think about the big picture and people after you, so it's really what, brings to the table.
Sorry, let's skip. Have a chance to look at the revisions to the latest shellfish regulations.
Some of them, yeah, with the, a lot of that is the
Yeah,
dredge
aquaculture and
stipulations.
stuff and that.
Yeah, I haven't perused the aquaculture too much, it's not in my sight yet, I'm still down the list, so I haven't been on that so much, but, with what Amy and the town has come up with for commercial guys and everything, I mean.
Very reasonable.
Yeah, are you talking about the pricing too? I didn't see that, but it's like $50, but I mean, I think that. If propagation's great, so I'm never gonna complain about anything like that, town resource, so.
So you came here from a non-ocean state,
Surrounded by lots of them.
and you do commercial shellfishing, what kinds of things do you like to do in your free time?
Gardening and animals is really kind of what our jam is, yeah. We have a huge garden, a farm stand, pigs, chickens, all that type of jazz. And the house is a never-ending project, so I will put that in as a hobby.
I'm sure wife is watching.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I know he is. He knows.
That's all I have.
Terrific. So you're aware that you're slated for consideration for the commercial permit member, and the term expires on all terms typically, most terms, and at the end of the fiscal year, June 30th, 2026. So it would be good for
Okay.
2 years, and then you would have to.
How is the board compromised, I guess, for like layout of who is, so is there
Yeah, that
like
was.
public, there's some public on there, and then there's,
Yeah,
I
there-
think, I don't know, everybody's.
Yeah, it was actually a reconsideration of the rewording, and that never got formalized. It was discussed before COVID, and then.
Yeah.
kind
So it's
of-
kind of open right now, kind of.
Well,
who's interested.
Pretty much, but typically or what's on the books is there are, I believe, 3 commercial. Thank you. Thank you. Why don't you say so, let's see.
I don't want to interrupt.
Go ahead.
What does he want to know, the charge?
Yes, well, the
The
makeup of the
Curious
shelter
about
school.
the makeup.
There's representatives from the recreation department, the recreational shell fishery, the commercial shell fishery, and people at large. And originally it was 2 members at large and 1 member with scientific training or experience in the shell fishery. And the reason that was originally set forth is they didn't necessarily want to say that you needed a college degree to have the science position. And that's been up for grabs because since the Shellfish Committee was formed 33 years ago or so, it's more common to have folks who have been to college and have some knowledge of like disease transmission and general biology and things like that. So, so it was under consideration to actually ask that position have a requirement of a college degree, but like I said, that was under consideration, but never formally adopted. So right now, it's pretty much, I think, basically 3 students, 3 commercial, 3 rec, and the 3rd at large.
Okay.
But you come with good recommendations, and appreciate you stepping forward to participate in helping our shell fisheries be as good as it can be.
Appreciate it.
It's more on the aquaculture side of things, but I have to say that I'm very proud that Barnstable is #1 in the state for the sale of oysters.
Yep.
2nd in the state for coho.
Yep.
probably the next. And but that's mostly the aquaculture product, the commercial side of things is a good indication of I would say the ultimate indication of a healthy estuary.
Yeah, it's, I know I have a couple of buddies in other towns, and I mean, obviously Chatham and all that stuff, so they came down there, but this way, I mean, Barnstable probably has the largest, Falmouth's next, but largest commercial fishing group there is, even from the bridge. So, it's an active fishery, lots of water, lots to learn.
For those of us who don't want to dig, we're happy to have people like you who will.
Yeah.
All right. I'm all set. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night. Nice to meet you.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Yeah, we'll see you again. Rachel?
This is Rachel Jones from the Mid-Cape Cultural Council, for various terms expiring at various dates based on the location.
Thank you.
Kristen.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you very much. So, Kristen, do you want to start this one?
Yeah, so there's obviously a story behind your nursing life and your art life.
Yes,
So
yes,
if you want to just tell me a little bit about that, 'cause that sounds interesting.
it's a big question. So I have my RN since 1974,
Oh,
and then and I worked in New York City in various hospitals, especially emergency room care, and ICU and CCU and high-risk labor and delivery. And then I became a family nurse practitioner, and I worked in a practice in New York City and New Jersey City, which is just across the Hudson River. When I worked in the emergency room as an RN, it was the dawn of the AIDS pandemic. And we had young men, young 18-year-olds coming and dying, and no one knew what was going on. And so many people died, and so many people died in that ER. So I became very committed to HIV/AIDS prevention. So after the men came in dying, their sexual partners came in dying. So anyway, I got my doctorate at NYU finished in 2002. And my area of research was HIV/AIDS prevention in urban, predominantly Black women, urban women. Because Black women are the highest transmission of HIV among women. And I did research, and I ended up at Rutgers, faculty at Rutgers in Newark, where there was a very large Black population and a very high rate of HIV/AIDS, but very little was being done with women. It was necessarily being done with men. So I ended up writing to National Institutes of Health, writing a grant and getting funded to create soap opera videos to reduce HIV risk in urban Black women. So there were many, many steps in development involving technology. We were the first to do a public health intervention in the United States that was video on a smartphone, on a phone. I mean, smartphones didn't exist. So we used the first Android Droid. Anyway, that began my work. And I then had a difficult divorce, decided I'm gonna move. I got a job offer from, when I went to NYU for my doctorate, I was a research fellow. So that paid for my tuition, otherwise I couldn't have done it. And I remained a nurse practitioner working at the same time. So she ended up at Northeastern in Boston. I hope I'm not going on too long. Okay. And recruited me to be faculty there, and of course bring my grants over with me. So I continued to work in Boston. This time all our work was online. We reached thousands of women. We worked in all over Boston, downtown, in neighborhoods that had high incidence of HIV/AIDS. And one night, and writing these grants at NIH takes 9 months for each grant. It's big. And so, and I reviewed for NIH for 15 years. So all the HIV/AIDS risk reduction grants. So when I remember the night that I said all of this science, all of this research, and I had first gone to college as a fine art major and became active in the civil rights movement. So that ended that. And I decided I really need to pay attention to my creative being. And I remember being online and I looked and I saw John Tunney's photography. I had never been on Cape Cod in my life. And I was living in Stoughton with my 3 Australians. And so I came to the Cape and started taking workshops. I don't know if anyone knows John Tunney's photography. He's just fantastic. And I thought, this is the most gorgeous place on earth. And he was taking us places. So that launched my return to art. And just years later, I became the assistant dean of research at the nursing school at Northeastern and started mentoring other faculty. And then in 2020, when I got COVID, I had a very mild case that did turn into long COVID. So I live with lung issues, pretty significant lung issues. And in my the change of life from being very, very active, and I retired. I had moved here in 2017 and was doing work online from 2017 through 2021. I retired in 2021. But the photography, and I've been all over Cape photographing, has been a very healing experience and has convinced me of the healing nature of art and creativity. And then every day that goes on, I feel it even more. So that's a long-winded answer, I'm sorry.
Beautiful story, thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
I was curious as to when you came to the Cape.
Yeah.
When was
2017.
that? 2017.
I moved here, yeah. I mean, a year after I met John Tunney, I bought a house and came here.
Yeah.
Crazy, I didn't know anybody except John.
So when did you actually first visit the Cape?
Well, I started taking classes with him about this 2016.
2016.
Mhm.
And in less than 10 years, you've
Yeah,
really
yeah.
developed a passion for
Mm.
photography and showing the beauty of the Cape.
And the need to preserve it. So there's a strong conservation message in all the work on my website and all the work I do. Yeah,
I think you would be great addition to the committee. And you just have so much experience.
old, I'm old.
You're a Renaissance person.
It's always been there, but yeah.
Well, I hope that your stamina improves and maybe being on the committee might be a new experience that will help in some way.
Well, being on the committee is a way for me to give back.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten so much from living on the Cape, and I miss the purpose of being with people and engaging in work that's helpful to the community. So this is really a gift to me to be able to do this.
And thank you very much. Your artwork that's at Town Hall is beautiful. It's very timely that it's all around us. And yes, you've had a tremendous path through your life to, with a lot of education and experiences. So thank you for stepping up to deliver that to our residents through the Mid-Cape Cultural Council. Have you watched any of their meetings?
I've been to 2 meetings.
Good.
Yeah,
Good. So that gives you a sense.
I already have the list of
Oh,
grant proposals to review.
Good.
She's 59 of them.
well,
There's something in there already.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe you should have omitted that part of your resume.
yeah, that you're stepping up and that there are a lot of vacancies. I know that I see, am I mistaken? 1, 2.
No, there's a
6.
tremendous amount because they're in the recycle process of everybody
Yeah,
coming off and then new members coming on.
okay, good.
So yeah,
So thank you. That'll help out a lot, and I'm glad you've been attending the meetings. It looks like a very seamless transition should the town council vote you through. I have no reason to think they would. Any other questions?
No, thanks for coming to Cape Cod and sharing yourself with us.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yes,
and I'm glad you met John Hunt.
Yeah, how do you spell his name?
TUNNEY1. His work is just beautiful. He's in Orleans.
Thank you very much, Becky.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in. You're welcome to stay if you like.
I'm hungry.
yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah. So,
Patrick Downey. is-
yes, so you said Human McAleese is not coming.
Oh, I'm sorry.
From your
Yes,
commission?
Colleen McAleese had practice after school. His coach called practice, so he could not make it. He's gonna reschedule. Marie Rizzo, you know the story behind that one, I understand. She withdrew her application this afternoon because she has a conflict of interest. And Bernadette Dumais could not get out of work, so she is going to also reschedule for the same time, at our next meeting.
Great, so thank you very much.
So guys,
Did you grow up on White Oak Trail?
no, I'm not from the Jeep originally.
Oh, I knew a Patrick family from where I grew up, so I was just,
I grew up in Albuquerque.
but you would have been really small, I mean, you wouldn't have probably.
I'm still really small, so.
Yeah, you would go like 5 years old, so.
Thank you very much, Patrick, for coming, and you are interested in the Human Resource.
Human Services.
Committee. Yep, thank you. So tickets.
So it looks like your work experience is relevant, so just kind of give us the story that you think that, how that work relevance would play onto the benefit of the Human Services Committee.
So originally I got into the mental health field, into substance abuse, like so you know, detoxes, rehab, stuff like that. I really like that word. And currently I work in the mental health field in crisis evaluations and long-term follow-up for mental health. And I also run a nonprofit that does direct outreach for the homeless. So I'm physically putting myself into the streets and talking with the homeless to get a better understanding of their needs and what, not necessarily needs, their wants, because we can tell them what they need to do, that's what they want to do, so actually help them is on them, and it's just trying to break that gap, building trust, so they trust I can direct them to the right services, they'll actually help them out. And mental health, abuse, it's all, and homelessness is all tied in together, and it's a big impact, and just one kind of as you can see on a daily basis of the struggles that are going on, and from my experience, I feel like I have to bring a lot of new ideas and a lot of new things to the table that aren't thought of, not just the way I think, but because I'm in this field all day. Like how you work, I'm doing direct other stuff for homeless too. So that could be a huge asset.
Is there one thing in particular, having met people where they're at, instead of telling them what to do, but kind of being with them? Is there one thing, is there one thread that you could explain to this committee, or just to like an average Barnstable resident that you think that obviously I wouldn't know because I'm not doing that work and I'm not meeting people where they're at, so something you could share with us?
I mean, just like on a basic thing, just being heard, like you can't imagine, like, say you walk by a homeless person, you might not pay him any mind, right? But if that person, you've been looking at them, that hurts them, or if they ask you for $1 and you say no, right? It still hurts their pride and ask for $1, even if it's for drugs or whatever it's for, it doesn't matter, but that's them swallowing their pride. They're still, they still want to be heard, but they feel like they're on a voice. There's only certain agencies that they can go to, or there's only so many things that they can get. There's only so many things housing wise that they can receive that is younger. It's tough hearing from them, what can I do? What can you do? How can I do this? And so I can direct them to those agencies, but it would be to work together. It's a tough. Right? Just honestly, the smile as you walk by and just hi, polite, good morning to somebody.
It doesn't cost anything, it's
And
pretty simple,
It's simple, and it's, they might come standoffish, but it's the way they have to live too, because, when you're homeless, you can't trust anybody. You can't trust what you heard on the streets, so it's like, it's not meant to be standoffish, it could be mental health too, but it's hard being in the streets, and, I will never judge somebody, say if I gave them $1, right? So if there's 10 people and 9 people were scamming me, and that one person needed $1, $10 I gave, I'd rather lose $10 for that one person that helped than them to not do that scam. Because that one person actually needed that, right? And I can't blame somebody for, wanting to sit outside in the winter, they get drunk and lose. I was in the streets, and I was sad, depressed only. needs to be done, there's only so much we can do, the housing crisis is terrible, but, you know, it's like, it's easy to tell someone to get a job. But I need an address for that, it's so straight, I mean, all these other things that aren't really available to somebody's own address. And it's like a whole big picture that it's, people always think it's real simple, but it's really.
Just curious, do you think little homes, are an answer?
Yes and no. Because they'd be great, yes, but the way to go about it, it would have to be very strict. Just because like, it's. Yeah, it would almost have to, kind of run down like a shelter, where it's trash, it's like you can't have, you don't wanna create little homes and then it become like a field area or, a hub for people just, doing bad things, right? And now I'm saying I want people to drugs or alcohol, none of that. I'm saying it's a fair way of doing it, yes. But obviously there's gotta be ways of doing it. And it is a possible option. And I run my brain through this all the time of what the actual option is to fix homelessness. I know it's so multifactorial, but so it's not rigid. There's so many different layers to it that I think tiny homes could help. Long-term solution, probably not. Short-term, it's better than the streets. It's better than the camps. It's better than the tents. But it's. Do I think the town will like it? No.
What happens at Bay Cove? What's going on?
So we do crisis, like mobile crisis. So say if you, a family member, somebody called us and said they were having SI, suicide ideation, or homicide ideation, or depressed sad, whatever it is, we'll send a clinician out there. I usually go with them and we evaluate them on the level of care needs. So whether that's section 12, like inpatient hospital, PHP, partial hospitalization program, ILP, intensive outpatient program, or like peer support and management, case management, and then we also do therapy, med management stuff, also like that. So it's like outpatient therapy, mobile crisis intervention, and then med management.
Sounds like a job I had one time ago, where I was doing stuff for children, Children's Emergency Services. It was a DMH. Are you contracted
We're
with
not,
DMH?
we have a grant, but I don't know who the grant's from, but it's not DMH.
Interesting.
So we do a lot of, we hold the mobile crisis for all the month. Just over one bridge, we'll go anywhere and do evaluations.
And you're not connected with DMH?
We do, we go and evaluate people in DMH homes.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, but we're not physically affected. Like, we don't, not connected with Ben, but.
Times have changed. DMH used to control everything. Okay, thank you. I wish we could find a committee for you to be on.
I have tons of ideas, tons of, I'm not lying, I think about this stuff all day, because it's really hard, it's working in the mental health field and, try to think of ways of how to fix something that's really not fixable right now. Or having this like keep on open to buying this too, it's all these different things that we done. If there's any other communities too, on those too.
I was scanning them, and I don't see another one that really could use your skills in human services.
I can probably shed a little light on that, Charlie, is, Cheryl.
Yes.
And she has, been asking, probably since this committee was, first reappointed from the new council, is she'd like to have, a couple of alternates to her committee.
Additional.
Additional people than the 5.
Yeah.
What that takes though is you have to change the code. It has to go before the council has to approve it, but it can come as a recommendation from this committee that the Human Services Committee add on 2 alternates, and then if it gets to the council level, they vote on it. Town Attorney Nober would do a new admin code, and then it would be sent to the town clerk, and then in turn sent to the state. So it's an involved process. It's not typically easy to do.
Yeah.
But I know Cheryl has requested it, and I believe she's been in contact with the legal department to see how she can get that rolling. So if it's something that this committee wants to take under advisement and recommend when you have a full membership, then it can be brought before the council as an admin code.
Let's do that.
Well, if I can chime in, there's also an ad hoc committee that has yet to have its first meeting, the Committee on Committees. And perhaps that's the avenue that could look at.
Yeah, but the committee on committees is gonna bring that recommendation to the town council, and then the town council has to adopt it, as opposed to
A
this
recommendation
committee just
from
going
this
directly to
committee.
Town council and getting it done. Yeah.
Sure.
But we don't need to bother you with the details.
Yeah, there's 43 committees.
Unless you wanna know the inner workings of how we get things done, but.
I'd love to learn, I think, I think me going this route of joining committees, I think it's been beneficial for me helping people in my own nonprofit and in my job, because it's just, it's the inner workings, it's something I don't know about, and it's something that I feel like I should learn, considering that I'm a nonprofit, that it's learning this stuff is huge. Trying to switch out grant writing now, it's just,
Well, you need to speak with Rachel.
I'm gonna
Oh,
actually.
good. Poor Rachel, she's gotten 3 jobs out of the deal today. Just kidding.
Well, you're a very resourceful young man and very dedicated. It sounds fortunate to have someone to do a job that as passionately as you're showing us that you have done.
I love it, and I'm in school for it, trying to get my master's and just,
Which area are you getting your master's?
so right now, just my bachelor's of psychology, and, I'd love to apply to that school, become a psychiatrist, but that's pricey, so my probably avenue right now is gonna be master's social work. So I do my LSESW,
The optimist is probably the most powerful.
but I like psychiatry better, so I took this, I did my bachelor's in psych, because I found that more interesting. So it's easier for me, I guess, than social work, but the social work.
Do you already have a degree?
I have a human services degree in associates.
I was gonna say 4C's office, the free tuition program.
I graduated last spring, so I started at Bridgewater this semester. So I take, and I still have to take 4 classes in the nonprofit.
That's a lot. That's a heavy lift.
I like to stay busy.
Good for you.
I like sitting still, like, I like to sit still, I think, how to fix things, so.
Were you brought up on the Cape? You found this passion to invest yourself so much in the community.
I love it, I mean, honestly, it's different, I don't know, I grew up in this area, there's something about the Cape that just made me stay, and I love the area I live in, like Barnstable, it's off the beach, so it's nice, and we look seashells and once in a while, just something,
So I take it you've been attending or watching these.
I don't watch any, I've looked at, some of the stuff, and then like a lot of the, I looked through the grants and stuff like that, and I have a nonprofit, and I looked through stuff. I'm on the town website, I just look at other stuff, just 'cause
Human services is not being videoed anymore, it's in person, which is too bad.
I do plan to go to this one.
Well, maybe sometime in the next year, you'll get a phone call from Cynthia saying that we've got an alternate position on the services.
Well, there's a position open now.
No, because Kevin Matthews is.
No, you
Oh,
got,
that's right.
yeah, and unfortunately, he was recommended by Cheryl, but Cheryl was also hounding him to get Kevin on. Which is what you did, but in the interim, he was recommended, but that's how this all happened.
So I would suggest you go to the meetings as if you were a committee member, you'll sit in the audience, but I am of the mind that folks who are interested in a particular committee's actions can contribute even if they're not a formally appointed member. You know, when it comes to public comment or making some suggestions. So, so thank you for making the time and effort and also for helping our community
Well, it's something I'm
in
very
the
passionate
easiest way.
about, you know, I just wanna see this town grow and continue to be better. You know, just, see the homeless population grow to deal with.
Fantastic. Anybody else?
Thanks, Pat.
Good work.
My nonprofit's called Before We Should Get Five.
I see it.
Look it up there. I'm on Facebook and website too, and just, you know, that's what we do. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very
Nice to
much.
meet all you guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
I'll be in touch with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for setting me straight on that. I didn't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for setting me straight. Now,
That's okay.
Jumping over. So, agenda item C, discussion and recommendations on candidates that were interviewed previously for the zoning board of appeals. Position is open as associate member to a term expiring 6/30/2026. The two are Paul Mazzola, who was interviewed on February 16th, 2024, and Natalie Pittenger, interviewed on May 29th, 2024. And thank you, Cindy, for organizing that for us.
Oh, yeah.
I should say that when I was attending the Shellfish Committee meeting earlier this month, the zoning board of appeals meeting was started a half an hour after the Shellfish Committee meeting did. And I intended to, after the Shellfish Committee meeting was over, to sit in on ZBA, and it got quiet. So I had been in touch, or got in touch with the chair. I said that it sounded like the meeting got quiet. Did you not have a quorum? And he said they had 4 members, but the applicants chose not to go forward with their agenda item, because that meant that all 4 members would have to vote yes. They couldn't afford a no vote because of the requirements for approving the proposals. So that tells me that, and I spoke to the planning director, Jim Cutler, today, and he had followed up with Anna Brigham, who serves on as staff support for that committee. And he checked to see has there been a reoccurring theme of absentees for ZBA. And according to Anna, that wasn't necessarily the case, although there were 4 people. So I do worry about having the ZBA fully appointed along with their alternate members. So it looks like we have one position to appoint today, or to recommend today. And any suggestions between these two?
I am torn in that, I mean, we have been at this since February. You know, with what went on at the last meeting and how that all went down. You know, here we are, we're missing 2 members. I feel like on some level it would be unfair to be voting without them present. On the same hand, I feel like we've been at this since February, and we, you know, with that being in mind, and just here we are at the end of October, and we don't have another meeting scheduled, and we don't know if everybody will be here for the next meeting. We've already had 2 votes on this, and it seems like, I don't know, I mean, maybe one of us will be switching our votes, and we already know how that Jeff and Steph have said they will not vote for Natalie. So I feel like we're in a little bit of a quandary here, because I don't want it to seem like we're taking a vote today because we have 3 people here and the other 2 people are not here, and I would never want it to be misconstrued that that's something that we're doing. But on the same hand, this has been going on since February. So
I appreciate your consideration for the other 2 members, but I, until I had this experience with the ZBA aborting their meeting because they had only 4 members. That tells me that this committee, which is a regulatory committee, it's costing the applicants money to, with their attorneys and engineers, I imagine, to reschedule, and some of the professional staff have to travel from off Cape. I have known this in the past. So I would be reluctant, although I do appreciate your consideration of the other 2 members. But I don't think that we should go the voting any longer, in my opinion.
If we can vote unanimously, then it says that the majority of the people in the committee would put this person, whether Jeff and Seth were here or not. Because it would be 3 versus 2.
We'll have the same issue for the CFAC, Chris King, who
How many people do we have? So we have 1 opening on the zoning board of appeals, right? We've got Paul Mazzola and Natalie Pittenger, right?
Mhm.
So if we can come to,
because one is scheduled before the
Union.
council.
pardon me,
No, Rodney Tavano has already been voted on, and he had his first read.
That's,
Yeah.
but the second reading.
Yes.
I wasn't here for that, but I would have voted for Rodney Toronto. Chris King, I'm looking at the comprehensive, it looks like there's 2 vacancies. Do we have any other candidate for either of those 2 vacancies?
No, Chris King was actually interviewed for the airport commission at the last appointments committee meeting, and the chair of the appointments committee asked him if he would be, if he wasn't considered for the airport commission, would he have an interest on CFAC? He didn't at the time know what it was about, so I went and got him the charge. He came, I handed him the charge, and then he actually sent me an email saying that he'd be more than interested to serve on the comprehensive financial advisory. Because he was not considered for the airport. We had, you considered Marguerite Maylo for that one, so she's on the town council agenda for the 24th. And then he said, by all means, with my background, I would be interested in serving, so that's why he's on there for CFAC.
I make a motion to nominate Chris King to position on the CFAC, it's the Comprehensive Financial Advisory Committee. I don't know what the term is on that.
It's 2026.
To a term ending in June of 2026.
Second,
I see 2, one is June 30th, 2025, and June 30th, 2027.
Oh, 27, sorry, it is 27, Council purpose.
Wait, so we have one that ends in 25 and one that ends in 27?
Correct.
So we can put them in either place? 2027.
Is there a second?
second.
All those in favor? Okey-doke. Notify him.
I make a motion to nominate Natalie Pittenger to zoning board of appeals. Term expiring 6/30/26.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor? Unanimous. Okay,
That closes off the zoning board of appeals, right?
yes,
Thank you very much. And thank you for preparing this for us.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so now, Agenda item D, to approve the meeting minutes of July 24, 2024.
And then September 12th,
I was gonna do them
2024.
One at a time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go right ahead.
Second.
Actually, I didn't move it. But I move to accept the minutes of 2024.
All those in favor? Nope.
All right, next to review are the minutes for September 12th, 2024. And there's a couple of edits.
Yes, Chris, I didn't print the new set out because they're working on my computer, but Chris had a couple of comments. One of them I put that Jacob Angelo, who put in his application for the waterways, I listed his residence as Katuitt. He's actually Barnstable, so my apologies for that. And then I also,
West Barnstable.
West Barnstable, and I also removed Counselor Bloom, I think, was here, and Seth Burdick was not, so I fixed the attendance on that.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second.
All those in favor? And now the meeting minutes of September 25, 2024.
Which was your last one.
Charlie was absent. I move that we accept the meeting minutes as prepared for September 25, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor? Okey-doke. It passes. Thank you very much. Now, did you want to choose another meeting, or do you want to wait, or?
I think we should choose another meeting.
What do we have for candidates?
You're gonna have, let's see, you'll have
Oh, the ones that are.
Kellen
returning?
McAleese, and then you'll have Bernadette Dumay. And any new ones that may come in from now until then, we still have, obviously openings. I corresponded, that gentleman was still opening. So yeah, anybody can put in an application for any of our, but so far you'll have 2.
So we really need an open space. I'm just thinking if maybe we wanna, on Thursday night, report what committees need.
True.
Are open and looking for applications.
Is the town's website up to date?
Yes.
Okay, that's something that I want to make sure before we.
Yeah, anytime I make changes in the database, it updates the vacancy list on our town council webpage.
Okay, good. So it looks like the Conservation Commission is still looking for a member?
Yes. And no new applications.
And will CFAP be filled if they all get approved by the town council?
That, on the reappointments, yes. I don't
So
believe,
there's 2 vacancies and I just put somebody in there, so there still will be 1 more vacancy.
Correct.
And we have openings, no, because the CPC, the recreation, that person's being appointed.
Yes,
That's what we can look at.
and I know that the historical committee is looking for a member as well.
So council on aging has vacancies.
yes. Yeah, that's an updated sheet as of 3:00 today.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
That I'm not saying something.
No.
I know you know better than me. And the disability commission.
Yeah, let's see, we have somebody on the airport waiting to be appointed, Board of Health waiting to be appointed by the council, Human Services by the council, licensing, Mid-Cape Cultural, and Waterways. And Steamship Authority Port Council, those are all on the town council agenda waiting to be appointed on the 24th.
And the elderly and disabled taxation aid committee.
Yep. I don't. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I think
What were you saying about the historical commission? Did you say something about that?
They have 3 vacancies. But one is
Yeah, it
a
needs to be an architect,
architect,
and the other can just be a regular member.
one's a regular member and one's an alternate member. And it's a member of the historical commission who also gets appointed to the community preservation committee. That person who was serving in that position passed away. He was a member, a designee from the historical, so it can't, even though there's a vacancy on CPC, not just anyone can cover for
Yeah.
commission.
And I'm assuming the historical commission is gonna go back to their group and ask somebody to serve on that?
Hope so. The tough one is finding an architect.
Yeah, we're having the same problem on,
Old Kings Highway,
yep, and,
Isn't Jack Kay an architect?
yes.
Was he an architect?
He was, he was.
Could he be moved to the architect representative?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
that would be, yeah, that would have to come from, the committee as a recommendation.
Okay.
We can't do that here because it's not on your agenda to
Right.
discuss.
That's a good idea. But perhaps we should ask Cindy when she comes back to give Jack Kay a call to see if he'd be willing to just attend the same meeting, but in a different function.
Yeah.
That would be really helpful. So Cindy, we were,
Yeah.
I was thinking, could give Jack Kay a call,
Okay,
since he serves now on the historical commission.
Yep.
And see if he'd be willing to be the architect representative.
okay,
It means he goes to the same meeting, doing the same thing, but because he is an architect, he's fairly remembered. He could be moved to that position. That would make it easier for us to fill the other vacancies, because they're not so, doesn't have this particular requirement.
okay.
Do we wanna nominate and move forward any of the people that we met today?
Good idea. Yeah, but thank you. I just wanted to make that suggestion earlier.
I know.
I appreciate that. So go ahead, do you want to make a motion?
I make a motion to nominate Chris Beach to the housing committee to a vacancy, to a term that expires 6/30/2025.
I second.
All those in favor? Perfect.
I nominate Timothy Hamill to the Shellfish Committee as a commercial shellfisher permitted, with a permitted term that expires on July 30th, 2026.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay,
Who else?
the last one would be Rachel Jones.
Oh, thank you. I move that we vote for Rachel Jones to occupy the regular member's term on the Big Cape Cultural Council. For term expiring on, what we have a bunch of
Yeah,
here, how about the 12/31/26, expiring 12/31/26.
Second.
all those in favor? Okay.
All right, so there, even though we interviewed very impressive work by Patrick Downey, there are no current vacancies.
Correct, but what I'm going to do is when you choose your next date, I'm going to put it on here to consider an alternate position to the Human Services Committee so that all 5 of you can discuss it, recommend it to the full council. It goes through 2 reads, and then I can call him back and say, the alternate position was approved. The committee interviewed on,
Good strategy. Yeah.
and then you can place them on there.
Do you know how it stands at the legal department at this time?
As far as I know, Karen said it's not an issue, it's just whether or not this committee recommends it. It's gotta come from somebody, so I
Understood.
would think it would come from the appointments committee, as the others did in the past, when they moved the Board of Health from a 3-member person to a 5-member, that was
Right.
done at the appointments committee level and then recommended to the council. And then it's an admin code change.
Right, so there's no action we should be taking today, but we.
Not on Mr. Downey, and I have to put that
Yeah,
on the agenda for discussion next time.
All right, that's a good plan. So, should we be looking at a new meeting date?
Yes.
Any suggestions? If they work in Thanksgiving,
I'm coming around Thanksgiving.
How about in 2 weeks?
Because really, we're gonna have what, we're gonna have maybe a youth commission.
well, 2 weeks from now is.
That's election day.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Do you wanna do it 3 weeks from now? That would be the 12th, the day after Veterans Day. Is that a-
That's fine with me.
What's the date on that?
12th?
You wanna do 4:30 again?
Sure.
4:30 to 5:30?
And if either Jeff or
Yeah. you'll let us
Seth can't
know.
make it, we'll look for another time.
Yes.
All right. Sounds good.
We don't need to vote on that, do we?
No, that's just setting your next meeting.
Make a motion.
Any other?
You all set, Larry?
I just think you guys are doing a great job. I think that
Well,
if
thank
you
you.
look back to January, February, you were not floundering, but you were trying to figure out where you were gonna go. I think you've come up with a routine. I think this, first of all, you've been formalized. And I think that's very, 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 very valuable. You have 4 people today, these are the people you want to cast for a play. I mean, but I think that it's not always that way, but it's easy for me. I mean, I could have easily chimed in on questions, but it was my hand. But so I just think that I think Jeff is doing well. Seth is an enigma. I met with Seth at the Katuitt Library last week for this very interesting conversation. He told me things that I don't necessarily know that he wants people to know. But it was, and I've known him for a long time. And I think the 3 of you are doing very well. I think you systematically went through procedures. Kristen brought up some concerns and you resolved them. And I think that that's what you should do. I think that there's a lot of other committees that don't do that. The Board of Health today was pressured to deal with things much better. And it was very, very interesting how they dealt with the issues. So that's one of the reasons I attend these things. Not to critique in the usual sense, but just to sort of, if there's a contribution I can make, you let me make it. If there isn't, then I withhold. So that's my public comment for the day. That doesn't have to be on the tape.
Thank you for your investment in our community. So,
Well, I take a personal interest in it.
yes,
And,
thank you. Good to have your input and perspective.
Make a motion to adjourn?
All in favor? You are adjourned.
Thank you.